Today we talk about the new need for friends, meaningful connections in a modern world.
Okay, so let's talk about a story that's all about a single painting, one that holds two completely different worlds inside its frame. It's a story about art, yeah, but also about friendship and survival, all centered on this one canvas that means absolutely everything, and at the same time, kind of nothing at all. So on one hand, you've got the cold, hard math of the art market, and on the other, a total emotional gut punch. And that contrast, right there, between the cash value and the emotional impact, that's really the heart of this whole thing. It just shows how one object can be seen in two ways that just can't exist in the same room.
So our story starts at a super high-end auction. You know the scene, all champagne and flashy jewelry, where this painting, the One of the Sea, is really just another item up for sale, just another asset.
And what's wild is the complete detachment here. I mean, these wealthy patrons, they're not talking about its beauty or its story. Nope, they're talking about its potential return on investment. They are literally betting on a tragedy, hoping the artist's death sends the price tag through the roof.
But see, standing in that very same crowd is someone who sees something totally different. Someone for whom this painting isn't an asset. For her, it's a lifeline. And that someone is a young, grieving runaway named Louisa.
And Louisa, well, she's our proof that happy endings don't always look the way we think they should. Her best friend was, as she puts it, murdered by reality, and now she's all alone, running from a foster system that failed both of them. This painting, it's the last connection she has to a promise she made, and her entire story is just wrapped up in this single canvas. Wow, this quote just gets right to the heart of Louisa's whole life. Her mom left, and she was just bounced from one foster home to another. The only escape she ever found? A kitchen fridge covered in postcards of famous paintings. That's where she discovered there was a whole other world out there, one beyond all her pain. So, to really get why this painting is so important, we have to rewind the clock. We're going back 25 years, to this old, abandoned pier where 4 teenagers basically found shelter from their own really tough home lives.
And look, these friends, they weren't just hanging out. They were surviving. For each of them, the others were the reason to get up in the morning, the reason to dream, and the reason to fight back against a world that had basically told them they were worthless.
So you've got the artist, and yeah, he's the guy who would one day become the famous CJ. He grew up feeling like he wasn't enough of a boy, you know? Just constantly being told he was strange, that he was always doing it wrong.
Then there was Jower, the protector, the tough kid. But all that toughness, it was a shield. It was a performance he had to put on to hide the fact that his dad was violent at home.
And Ted, he was the planner, the quiet one, an immigrant kid who got made fun of for his accent. But with these friends, he felt so safe that for the first time, he wasn't afraid to just talk, to just exist without being judged.
And then Allie crashed into their lives. The spark. She was this brilliant, chaotic force. And she wasn't just looking for friends, you know. She was looking for a reason to live. She had literally made a choice that morning. Either end her life or find a brand new one.
So you take that summer, that incredible, life-saving friendship, and something truly powerful, something transcendent was born from it.
Think about it. For the artist who had all this beauty inside him but was just surrounded by ugliness, painting wasn't some casual hobby. It was a rebellion. It was his way of fighting back against a world that felt like it was designed to just crush him.
And what's really interesting is how the story defines art itself. It says art isn't a product. It's a feeling. It's empathy. It's like a message in a bottle from one lonely person to another that just says, hey, you are not alone.
And it goes even deeper, right? This shows how art can be a form of survival. For the artist, his paintings weren't about capturing what he saw. They were about trying to show the world the beauty he wished he actually had inside of himself.
So the crucial point here is that for these kids, and especially for the artist, art wasn't a luxury, it was a flat-out necessity. It was a coping mechanism. It was the thing that got him through one more day, one more week, and a life that felt, well, pretty unbearable a lot of the time.
So that one perfect summer, it didn't just end. The echoes of it just rippled out for decades, and they ended up shaping the lives and the tragedies of all 4 of these friends.
And their lives took some really tough, tragic turns, pretty much fulfilling this grim prophecy made all those years ago on the pier. The artist? He found fame, but it was more of a curse. He became an investment, a thing to be bought and sold, and he ended up totally isolated, shipwrecked by the very success that was supposed to save him.
Okay, and so all of this brings us full circle, right back to where we started, with Louisa and with this painting's final, totally unexpected journey across the entire country.
So the painting, it becomes this catalyst. It's the physical proof of their shared past, and it's what reconnects the survivors who are still around. It proves that what they built that summer wasn't just a memory. It was a shield, a kind of fragile magic that protected them from the worst parts of the world. And it's this testament to the idea that, yeah, friendship can actually save a life.
Which leaves us with the big question, right? What is this painting really worth? Is it the number on a price tag? Or is it the story of 4 kids on a pier and the girl who crossed a whole country just to find them?
In the end, the story just leaves you with this one simple, really profound and kind of bittersweet truth. In a totally chaotic world, the connections we make, the friendships we build, they're a miracle. They might not last forever, but the fact that they happened at all, well, that's everything.